Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our exclusive Global Leading Voices webinar campaign. We are delighted to have you join us here today. Please be informed that if you have any questions during the presentation, you may type them into the question box in your control panel. The presenter will answer your questions at the end of the presentation accordingly. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our presenter, who will begin shortly.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, based on the time zone. So, my name is Patrick Ben Thomas. I have invited as a panelist by PDCA for conducting this webinar. It's based on ISO 28000 2022, reduce risk and improve the security management system. It's mainly based on supply chain and stuff. So thank you everyone for having patience and joining my session. So let's start the session right now. Yeah, so you can change the slide. Okay, so these are the agendas and the topics which I'm going to talk about. So we will discuss about what is ISO 28000 2022 if someone are new, and it is much more easier for them to understand from the basic, and why is it important for an organization for their functionality, and how to operate it in a security management perspective, and we will discuss about how it operates, and later on the benefits to implement the standard for an organization. So yeah, so that's how we are going to do. Next slide, please. Yeah, so I just want to introduce myself. I'm a cybersecurity graduate, master's in cybersecurity. I used to do penetration testing in leading companies and some other websites like HackerOne, BugCrowd as well. I used to do vulnerability assessment also. The main thing, apart from my penetration testing and system and web application, I used to have an interest in radio frequency hacking, and like scanning and analyzing all these frequencies in the spectrum. So I used to use SDR. So that's that's the only thing which we can use for analysis and to find the vulnerabilities. And along with that, I'm a hardware hacker as well. So I used to manipulate. I used to change and modify the computer systems and other related things by which we can access a system, or we can have an access to any other device which is like having a different authorizations or something like that. So yeah, so these are my social media handles. If you want, you can follow me over there. So in the LinkedIn, I have given a simple form. I have just reduced it to a bit.ly shortened URL, so that is much more easier. Or else you can scan the QR code as well. So that's how it is. So we will move to the next slide. Yeah. So as an introduction, I would like to talk about what is ISO 28000. So this document mainly describes the specifications of security management system of a company or an organizations that includes supply chains sequence. So this they are mainly based on from the raw materials till the production of the final product. So this applies to all the organizations of all size and types, for example, commercial firms, government, or other public agencies. And so who want to design, implement, maintain and enhance the security, they can implement in their security management systems. So that's the main purpose of this ISO 28000. So why do we need to update? So there are different versions of ISO 28000, starting from ISO 28000 2005, 2007, and the latest version is 2022. So in the main need to update is the main thing is ISO standards have not been updated for a long time, because ISO as a general, it's a globalized recognition, which is updated every five years, but it have not been updated for a long time after 2007. So there are many security concerns raised and aspects. So that might affect an organization security management. So that's the main reason we need to update the ISO standards as well. So how it can impact the organization if you are not updating is mainly based on the current threats by which a company can be attacked, or I mean, not only a certain specific thing, like it is a wide variety places where, so that's the main reason why we need to update the standards. So I mean, that's the main thing. The focus of ISO 20000 is to assist organization in the identification and implementations of controls to safeguard people, products, and assets. It have like different security challenges that needs to overcome with different sets of implementations and standards. So um, so the, so that's the main thing. The main benefit what we can take is like the organization will have to update that I mean the day-to-day security management practice that can be implemented in their companies. So that can be a major leap also for ISO standards, I mean for the companies, so that there are a lot of changes as compared to the previous standards, which we will discuss further. So we will move on to the next slide. Yeah. So here we are just basically understanding the ISO 20000 in general. So as I previously discussed, this is mainly implementation or methodology to in an organization for identifying the controls to safeguard people, products, and assets of supply chain. Because in an organization there will be different levels of products manufacturing or product, I mean, people who are involved, the equipments they are used, and the scenario. So it is like it's a bit broad term. So how the ISO standards are like often updated. So basically they rely on a model that is known as PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. So this is very common for all ISO standards, but in this, in ISO standard based on security management, it is having a different role. So that's the main. That's how each 5 years the ISO standards update. But some companies they don't do, because once they have found a solution, they don't want to. They don't want for a better option because it requires a lot of effort to do that. The PDCA methods offers like 4 simple steps to follow and encourage to keep improving the results permanently. Because if you are improving our security management and the like how we are assessing our own organization, that actually impact on ourselves, on each and every like companies. So so that's the thing. So let's discuss how it works that helps to improve the organization. So the first part is like they will plan the planning session. The planning is done where they identify the problems and discovers where and why it started, because the initial stages for planning, if we have a good planning a methodology, then we can as an organization they can have a proper methods how to implement, how to act. So that's the main, so that's the initial stage. So once the planning have been done, they will go for the do part, where they will include all the teams to operate as they're planning, from the raw materials to importing and how to solve the, to how to maintain and how to make a product out of it. So that's the main part, the execution part. So there they will do what all was planned, and from there, once it have been completed, it will go for a check analysis. So on the check, they will analyze their output. If everything is okay, then that is fine. Or if there is anything that need to be required to change or that need to be updated, it will be moved, it will be analyzed again, and they will finally fix it. And then they move for act part. So they will share the learnings and the outcomes. So basically, we can terms in a layman terms as a quality assurance, like testing of their product, and they want to standardize it because each and every company is having different project methods and implementation of their of their products, right? So so while implementing this act, they are actually checking themselves. They are analyzing themselves to see if whatever they have done is right or wrong. So this act part actually make the changes to improve the results that they have obtained. And so this is the main part, and this repeats every 5 years, or if there is any improvement needed, then this will be like in a circle. They will be updating again in the same manner. So that's how it is. So we'll move to the next slide. Okay, so here this is chart which I have figured out to explain in a much more easier way for improvements the PDCA model of each and every organization. So as I told you, as I told previously, um, each and every 5 years we need to update it. But once we have been into the PDCA process, then we are there for a while because that's how it is. So based on time, the quality improves, the quality of the company, the quality of the organization improves because of the standardization. That's recognized globally. So this should not be constant. It should be updated again. So the continuous improvement based on the PDCA methodology will keep a company security management system in a growth, and that will actually affect their in all ways. So that's how it should work. This I found this chart as a very meaningful one, as it shows like how the standards go for a while in a same way, and later on it try to improve. So like we should standardize something. So that's how it works. We'll move to the next slide. Yeah, so here we will actually discuss like why is it important to update. So as I previously told, it have not been updated for past 15 years, which is a long time period where the security management team might have had many issues. If there was any breach from external threats, so this was the main time when time period where they should be aware of, but it was not being done. So ISO 20000 offers a systematic approach to security management that can both improve operational capabilities and increase confidence part of customers and regulators. Um, so it is based on all current relevant to the relevant global security initiatives that includes custom trade partnership against terrorism and the World Custom Organization's framework of standard to secure global trade. So this ISO certificate plays a major role. So as we have seen, like as from if we compare from the first appearance of the ISO 20000, there's a fairly like drastic change because of the improvement and the day-to-day life they were. An organization was facing. So based on that, each and every this standard was keeping on updated. So the structure was like whole has been rearranged. So from if you are analyzing from 2005 to 2022, we can see that there are like drastic changes in terms of security management system of a company for their supply chains. So that's the main difference which is happening right now. And the closer analysis reveals like from 2007 to 2022, the analysis was not that much different because previously it was having a lot more imprecise based on how based on how like organizations like storage, service, manufacturing, transportation, stage. I mean, so so previously it was having a lot more precise, but later on the security management team decided to go for a generalize and make it a bit more simple, but not compromising the security. So it was a bit more easier for updation for the companies who had the ISO standard 28000 previously. So the companies who had previously the certification, it was much more easier to update them to the 2022 version, and still keeping their organizations like security um, in a secure management, I mean secure manner way that demonstrate like the registrations of its security management systems by accrediting by third-party certification body. So that's how it was. And ISO 20000, like all ISO management system standards, employs different. They had a harmonized structure, but previously it was as high structure. So that have been a bit modified to harmonized structure as of now. Yeah, so in terms of the content, there are no major changes we can say, because as I have discussed this time and for this year, it have been a bit more generalized and much more easier to understand. And the core requirements of like harmonized structure have largely been retained. So, however, the new harmonized structure will only become effective with the next revisions of the respective ISO standards. So, it will be for the next time, I guess. Yeah. So that's one of the things which I have noticed, and um, the ISO standard, the 2022 versions includes like enterprise, government, or other public agencies as well. So which have an intention to establish their own, I mean, establish, implement, and maintain to improve security management systems. So that's how it works. Yeah. So we'll move to the next slide. Okay. Yeah. So once we have the certification, we can see like how it actually brings brings change in organization. So as we can see in the slide, it is obvious, like it increases the customers for transport and logistic companies, because if the other companies have seen that we have a certain set of certifications, and if we have a certain aspects of regulatory bodies which we are maintaining in a globalized way, then obviously the other companies and organization will have an interest to collaborate with us. So the customers we will get with different contacts and all these things, and the increased supply chain visibility, because sometimes the other clients might also have an interest based on the standardization which we have implemented in our company. So we might have much more broader ways to see it. And once the standardization is in a good manner, we can say the supply chain disruptions will be on very minimum scale, because it is much more hard to have a breach on this on the supply chains distributions, because there are proper ways and methods how the company or the organization is handling it, because of their knowledge and how it should work. So that's how the improved lead time predictability is also a good. I mean, it's like a bit more challenging for other parties for a security breach in their whole process. So and one more thing is like increase in sales. So obviously, if the organization's management system, security management system is working very precisely and act to the point, then this will be held for a much more increasing sale. So other companies will invest, and the shares and the company's revenue, it will be on the high stage based on their security management and what they are actually implementing. So there are different aspects how ISO certifications can actually impact on your company, from a company which is not having an ISO standard to a company which is having an ISO standardization. So on day-to-day life, the companies might not be that much concerned about it because of their initial stage. They might think it is not that much required, but to be certified by a known organization, it actually adds a value to the company, and there are like so this actually adds a lot of value. So that's what I'm trying to basically to tell. Yeah. So we will discuss to the next slide. Yeah. So benefits to implement the standards. So that's where I'm going to explain a bit more, because as I mentioned in the previous slide, there are many plus points which a companies can own by being a good standardization and security in terms of security management. So here it's like the ISO 20000 brings like big benefits to companies of all size by allowing to respond to the increasing customer demand for proof of systematic security management. Okay, and as ISO 20000 compliance management systems can improve your business confidence, reputations, and future growth, along with all the other factors like the monetary and management security risk throughout your business and supply chain will be too high because of it is having a complete regulatory standards, and gain a competitive advantage and win new businesses. As we said, like we as a company, if we are having a standard like a proper standard where we are following a certain set of procedure, then we might get new clients for our business, and this can actually impact on a large scale for the profit of our own company, and this can actually encourage other companies seeing our security and the process which we are implementing in our supply chain process, and that can also be a big benefit for us. So if we are following a certain rules and regulations which is globalized through a well-known certifications like ISO 20000, it can actually affect our company's reputation and fame in a drastic way. And if you're benchmarking our organization security management practice with international, it will obviously stand along with international standards, because the company is following global standardization, which other companies are also following. And this might be a bit more challenging as the companies both are following the same standards, but how to improve it in their own perspective. Because once we get the standard, I mean, the ISO standardization, it doesn't mean that we are completely secure unless we put our own effort to make it more, ways to make it more secure. Because we can't predict how the things can change all of a sudden. So there's a place where we need to put our own effort to improve security management along with the standardization. So that's how a company's whole potential can be improved. So for that, the company need to hire the qualified personnel who have different thoughts and how they can put their own effort to along with the ISO standardization. So that's how a company can benchmark their own security practice along with other companies who are having the same ISO standardization. And this can actually be cost saving through different reductions in security incidents and potential reduction in corporate insurance premiums. Like if our company okay, so before in implementing this, the company is having a risk of getting breached by other third party, I mean, not companies, but other organizations who are to put other company to low. So if you are having this standardization, the employees, the personnel they might have, they will have the knowledge how to prevent it. So it might be a big leap for a company or organizations to implement the standardized, to implement this ISO certificate in their companies. So this can act, it can act accordingly for making our own systems security features a bit more high and evade ourselves from security risks. So that's how this standardization can actually affect our company's credibility, and it gain more opportunity to improve efficiency across working place. So that's how the standardizations benefit in certain set of areas. So that's the main part. As far as I have, I got I got to know, but there are much more like uh, opportunity if we are having this certification in our organization. So it can develop both new visions for developing our security management policies and implementing much more in along with our company's policies as well. So that's how it works. We'll go to the next slide, which is um, conclusion. So we have like discussed like how a system, how a ISO 28000 2022 updated version is like valuable for organization. That's the main as compared to 2007. There have not been much difference, but the main part which we are focusing is the updation and the standardization, which have been done in much more precise way. So that's how it works, and the model of analyzing and security management of of our organization is also important, as we have discussed, because it can be in a whole different way where we are not even able to like analyze or even think how a breach can happen in any part of the supply chain process. So there we need to have a proper knowledge how to prevent it, how to stop it, and how to conduct it in a mannerly way. So for having all this knowledge, we need a proper information and proper certifications. So that can be provided, and that can be actually actually useful for the organizations for achieving themselves in a much more credible level, and gain them a fame by having like a certain set of certifications that actually values in a global manner. And this new updation of this ISO 20000 covers like latest updates and improvements. As I discussed, the companies who were having previous certification, the version 2007, um, they will have a much more easy way to access 2022 version of certifications and standardization. So basically, there are many um, security implementations which can improve the company security features. So that's how globalization and global certificate can actually impact a company. And we can see like how an organization can gain value based on updated ISO certification. Obviously, if company is having a certain set of certifications, we have a different like we have different set of recognition among other competitors who are not having a official way to tell themselves that they have a certification, because it actually cost a company to invest in themselves. But this is a very it is worth it, because this can impact in a whole different way, where it will improve the quality of their security management systems, as well as the company's um, um, chance of not getting into breach. And they can actually save a lot of money because of the knowledge they have, um, the along with the certification. So that's how it works. Yeah, so that's how I want to conclude my session, and we'll move to the next slide. It's a question and answers. So if anyone is having any doubts or any questions, you can please let me know in the comment section. I will I'll try to reply my best.
Thank you very much, Patrick, for the webinar. Just a reminder to our audience that PCB offers training and certification courses, which will show your dedication in implementing and managing supply chain security management related frameworks. And most importantly, you'll get recognized worldwide. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and take some time to answer some of the questions from the attendees. So the first question is, do you know why did it take 15 years to update the ISO 28000? Does it mean that there was no need to be updated?
So actually, I have done a research about that. So what I got to know is there was not much difference as I said, we can find out the ISO 28000 2007 version and 2022 version online. So if we go to the official website, we can find that there is no much drastic changes, but since the no other companies was following version for a long time, they had a thought for updating it with a much more like requirements that can be a threat for future. Because of the 15 years, it's not a small short time, right? It's a huge it's a huge gap. So from 2007 to 2022, there have been like different technological changes, changes in organization, changes in companies and how they operate. So because of that, they have improved a bit more. They have improved their standard in a technical way and a bit more way in advanced way, where the companies can have a thread against all the previous methods. So that's why they have implemented right now new versions. Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick. The second question is there a connection between ISO 28000 and ISO 27000?
It is different because ISO 28000 mainly discuss about the security management that is based on security management system of supply chain. But along with if you're discussing about IS 27001, it actually have a bit similarities, but not in the same way. It actually focus on information security management, ISMS. So that's how they are focused on. It actually it's mainly based for the audits and controls of organizations. In one way, we can say that it is similar because both are focusing on security aspects. So yeah, so that's the difference.
Thank you. The other question is, what is the role of logistics in supply chain management?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, what is the role of logistics in supply chain management?
Yeah, so logistics plays an important role because supply chain is the whole process from the raw materials to transportation, manufacturing till the final product, right? So from the initial stage, we can expect that for the logistics can be used in any of the areas where we need to use, like for transporting or for transporting raw materials or transporting the final products. So logistics plays a very big important role, and the logistic companies should also have the certifications for maintaining their own standard ways. Global way to handle the products and how to transport. So yeah, so that's how logistics is involved in this, and it is very important for them also to have knowledge and have the certifications. Yeah, so that's how it is.
Thank you. The other question is, what are the similarities between the 28000 standard and ISO 31000, so risk management?
ISO 31000, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so risk management is a term where we can make it more precise. Like, so 28,000 is generalized in a way where risk is included inside. So we can say that 31,000 is included inside. Let's say if there's any risks. No, so what are the risks? The main risk for companies, like the employees that are working, or the scenarios where they have kept, I mean, they are handling the products or the office or their the areas where they are operating. So if they are having any risk factors, let's say if there is any, if the file safety issues are not done properly, or if there are any threats for their systems, or the computerized equipments to get manipulated or get hacked. So this can be a risk for companies in terms of security. Yeah. So that's how 31,000 relates with 28,000. So a company who is having 28,000 doesn't have, I mean, it's not only having that certification. It along with that, they will have 31,000 and 31,000 along with ISO 22316. So that is a security reliance and security standards along with risk management standards. So that's how these three actually correlate with each other.
Thank you. The last question is, what is the difference between ISO 28000 and 22301, since both of them help to a harmonized system?
22301, right?
Yeah, business continuity management.
Yeah, business continuity. Actually, that's a big part, as we can say. I mean, because business continuity is a very important role for any company for having a good business, and which follows an international standard for their continuity. And it is designed to help organizations prevent and prepare for response of recover from unexpected disruptive incidents. So this is also same similar along with the 28,000, but the business continuity have three important roles, that is resilience, recover, and contingency. So any company, the organizations, they should increase their resilience by design and critical functions, and the infrastructure also varies, because the possibilities for disaster is also unpredictable. So they should also focus on that area, and this can be include stuffing ratio and data redundancies and maintaining the surplus of capacity, because they should not have like less workers in their organizations, but they should have a proper amount of people who should work for them, and which actually go with the three elements of the business continuity. So that's how it is relatable.
Thank you, Patrick. We received one more question, which is, how long is the transition period for a company that is already certified with ISO 28000? So the last version of the standard, yeah, 2007, and that must transition to ISO, the updated version.
So that's a very easy process, because the company who is already having ISO 28000 2007 version, it is much more easy for them to transition to a new version, because they already have the security standards and they have done the certification previously. So they just need to do the updated version, and it just requires, like, they just want to know what all things they have updated in the new version, right? So that is much more easy process, because it doesn't take because we already own that certification, right? So it's just like a basic, basic things which we can see, which we can compare with, like, if already if let's say if we have any certification, let's say it's in terms of any security related certification. If there is a new updated version, we just need to learn the new topics and new things what they have updated, and till we can perform sorry, I mean, still we can update, I mean, go for the new one, but it won't take much time. It's much more easy process as compared to a company who is not having a ISO 20000 certification in previous. So it is, as compared to that company, this is much more easy way to gain the new updated version. Yeah.
Thank you very much for presenting today, and thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. Please be informed that this session is recorded and will be posted on our website and YouTube channel along with the slides of the presentation. Thank you all, and see you in our next webinar.
Thank you so much for inviting me.